everybody? It's ChefD26 and Irishboozehound are back once again for another movie review with spoilers. And today we shall be doing
the best X-Men there was. The best Deadpool there was.
Clifton. Irish, we talked about this off camera about why you need to stop. You need to stop doing this.
This actually has purpose. We'll explain that later. But this has purpose with this movie. So yeah, we'll explain that movie later.
Yes, and now we're back because me and him had a huge heated argument off camera about the actual movie we were supposed to be reviewing. And now we are reviewing Deadpool 2. So right now, this movie is directed by David Leitch, who also done other movies. Well, some of them good, some of them not so good.
Most notably, John Wick. And V for Vendetta.
Yes. And also done the Mechanic, The Bourne Legacy, and Atomic Blonde, just to name a few of his works.
I think in this one, he's definitely not like the previous director, but he did a really fantastic job in all the different characters and juggling the different scenes between comedy, action, and suspense, drama. Yeah, and to juggle all of that with a lot of characters. There's a lot of people in this movie, guys.
Yes, there is. And I was surprised on the amount of people that were in here after doing my homework.
Yeah, exactly. Right away, we get to see Ryan Reynolds come back as DP2.
Awesome.
Perfect choice as Wade Wilson. Even in that shitty version of Deadpool and X-Men Origins, to be able to redo that for the fans is a phenomenal job.
Yes, because the X-Men Origins ones with him with his mouth pretty much melted shut. That's a no-no. And then to have his knives, his katana blades, and his wrist, and him to do the Cyclops eyes, that is just BS. Alright? Yeah, straight up. But for him to come back to actually use his mouth, use his katana blades, use his weapons, and to use his comedy, sarcastic, being a dick to everybody, and his fourth wall breaking.
Yes.
He does a great job. Ryan Reynolds does a fantastic job playing Wade Wilson, a.k.a. the Merc with the Mouth.
And also, too, in the trailer, we get to see Cable, a.k.a. Josh Brolin. Also, too, fantastic choice, as well as a bit of a shocker, because we see him as Thanos here in Avengers Infinity War, and also as Cable. And surprisingly, he actually did a fantastic job. I was actually blown away.
Yes, John. I mean, he kind of burst on the scene, more of like a mystery, like why is he coming back?
Yeah, exactly. He just kind of pops there, and we get to see a little bit of why he's here, but there's still a lot of unexplained answers on his character.
Yes, and we will explain all that and more in the spoilers discussion, guys. We'll let you know about that one right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And right now, also returning from Deadpool 1 is pretty much almost the entire original cast.
Including his girlfriend Vanessa, whose real name I can't really pronounce it.
Her name is Moriana Arani?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry about mispronouncing some of these people's names, but I will be displaying them out here, and you can pronounce it the way you want.
Very good choice to play his girlfriend.
And I'm really glad that she did come back to reprise her role, just to have her in for just the very first one, and then not to bring her back for the second one.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, because in this one, this one helps develop, she helps him develop Wade,
more,
I should say. Yeah, more of the character for him, and I think that was a very good idea. Instead of just being one-dimensional or two-dimensional, besides talking shit and killing everybody, depending how your view of him.
Yeah, no, this one she really drives him in this movie, and that's what's important, and that's what kind of made this movie as good as it is. Also, too, we get to see Russell Collins, aka Fire Fist, played by Julian Dennison, yeah, Julian Dennison.
He plays Fire Fist. Who's an important character in this movie.
And there's a couple of scenes, I swear to God, I wanted to just bust out laughing, and I just every time I see him, I get the penguin in my head.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're think you're gonna.
But the kid actually did a really good job.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He was very serious in a lot of scenes, and he did show emotion when need be. And I thought he was a perfect choice for Fire Fist.
Yeah, and this way, shows him, wanting to do more, wanting to do something different. He's being picked on, and he wants us to stop, and he's got to do it somehow.
Right, he's abused, he's bullied, and it really drives him to be who he is in this movie, and really sets the tone, and what the movie's about.
Yes, especially for the spoilers, which we will discuss here in a little bit more about this character, because his character is very important.
Yeah, and then we also get to see T.J. Miller come back. T.J. Miller, he's hilarious.
Very funny.
Any movie he does, he really, really brings the comedy. And in this one, he plays Weasel, Wade Wilson's best friend.
Yes, he was very good in Ready Player One as IROC.
Yes. Like I said, great casting choice. And in this one, he actually has a little bit more...
somewhat more of a role, almost about the same amount, but...
Right. And as you see in the trailer, he kind of is helping Deadpool select his X-Force, which we'll talk a little bit later.
Yes.
Also, too, Colossus comes back.
Who plays him? His name is Stefan Kapik. It sounds Russian. I'm very sorry again for mispronouncing it. Yes.
But, I know a lot of you out there want to see Colossus just normal and be able to switch between, but... like Wade Wilson said in the peripheral.
That would have been good to see Colossus go from being a normal person to growing huge and having the metal skin like they did in X-Men, like 2 and 3, and in the cartoons.
Right, yeah, exactly. So,
yes.
I thought that was a little bit, off-putting, but...
But still, it was great to see him again.
Right, and then Blind Al comes back, played by Leslie...
Ugman, or something like that. Sorry again for mispronouncing it.
Blind Al, she's just her normal comedic self, just kind of off-putting in some scenes, but
not as much as like in the first one.
Almost
the same amount.
She had less time in this one, actually.
Yes. Yeah, and of course, Brianna Hildebrand, is that her name? Brianna Hildebrand, I'm sorry, but she's played...
you said it right.
Okay.
Brianna Hildebrand.
And that's Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And there's also a newcomer in here, which I really won't even attempt to even try to pronounce her name. It's just, I'm just going to go as a character's name in the movie, and that's Yukio.
Yeah, who actually is the girlfriend to Negasonic. Which, by the way, was interesting to see, but, Deadpool kind of nitpicks at that.
Yeah, Deadpool, I don't know if he really liked her or not, because some parts of the movie was like, "Bye, Yukio," like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was like trying to make passes at her, or if he was just like mocking her, but
yeah, but all in all, it was great to see everybody return.
Yeah,
each one of them had their own little shine in the spotlight. Especially was one particular scene with Weasel, and when he encountered Cable, which I thought was very, very funny.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that everybody came together, the way this movie went, the comedy, and bringing together the X-Force, I thought was pretty interesting.
Yes.
I thought that was a good comedy part right there.
Right, and we'll talk about the X-Force in more in detail later, but we get to see Domino, Bedlam, Shadowstar, Nagai's Peter. Peter in the trailer is the one that just is dressed up as like a
a normal civilian, basically.
And of course, the Vanisher, who's invincible. We'll talk a little bit more about him later as well. But X-Force, I just thought was very, very humorous. Wish maybe they had a little bit more screen time, but all in all, it was great to see him create a team.
Yeah, it was great he was hyping up his team. He was very excited for his team, and then it was something interesting happened to them.
Right, which again we'll explain later. But
yes. So right now I want to get down to our final review. We can just jump right into spoilers.
We're forgetting one thing.
Oh, we were forgetting. What are we forgetting?
The music.
The music. Oh my god. Damn it, Clifton. You always gotta fuck with me on the music and everything else.
We get to see, well, not see, but we get to hear Barbra Streisand, Air Supply. We actually get to hear some dub. There was one scene between Deadpool and Cable, and without really giving too much away, they kind of argue about that music. And
yeah, they even talk about, but you hear Dolly Parton.
Yeah,
Dolly Parton's in this movie, and Careless Whispers again is played in this one.
Yes.
There's a few other songs in this movie which I really couldn't tell you all of them unless you actually see the credits yourself.
Yeah, I mean, some of them you just like, kind of, why was that a choice? But
some of them were kind of questionable.
And then
thinking like,
man, and just that AC/DC Thunderstruck song. I just wish they would just stop using that song. It's a good song. It's supposed to use to get your blood and your adrenaline pumping, but there's other songs that you could choose, you know. But just so, I mean, all in all, with the actors, the music, the sound effects, the CGI,
very good CGI. Surprisingly good CGI.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of scenes where it was iffy, but all in all, you know, I'd give this 3 katanas.
Ooh, 3 katanas. Very nice.
3 katanas.
Now, for me, you know, seeing Ryan Reynolds again playing Deadpool, Josh Brolin as Cable, and then, you know, you got a few of your other actors in here. But there are certain scenes and a couple of choices in the music was a little bit questionable.
And there was a couple of scenes where, you know, the movie needed to be serious and instead it was humorous.
Yes.
Which was a little off-putting.
But for me, in general, I gotta agree with Irish. I give it 3 cables out of 5.
Cables?
Right there. That's if I can't put them right here, guys.
There you go.
So right now, everybody, let's go ahead and get right into spoilers. Isn't that right, Clifton?
You have been warned.
Right here.
If you don't want to listen to what's going to happen beyond here, go watch another video.
Watch another video. Right away, guys, I want to say, like, why did Cable come back in time? Well, the main plot was that the guy, Fire Fist, who was that little boy in the future, was like 50 years in the future, right?
Yeah, because they showed him later in the movie he was a full adult.
Yeah. He goes back and he kills Cable's wife and his daughter. Mm-hmm. So that's what really set him off to go back in time to stop him from actually becoming this huge killer in the future.
It's kind of like almost like X-Men Days of Future Past, how they went back into time to stop the Sentinels.
Where Wolverine went back in time in order to like try to prevent Mystique from killing somebody. And that's exactly how this plot turned out, because once this boy kills this guy at this re-education center for like mutants and stuff, because the guy over there, he's like a nut. He's like a religious nut.
He's trying to take the powers away from mutants. He says that they're an abomination.
Yes.
And basically he tortures these kids, and one particular Fire Fist, to the point where this kid wants to murder him, which ultimately creates this chain reaction leading to Cable's current time.
Yes, because once Fire Fist kills him, then he wants to kill more. He wants to keep on killing. Yeah, like it's a chain reaction. Yes,
that's what Cable says to Deadpool.
Yes.
Is that, you know, once he kills this particular person, he has a taste for it, and he keeps going and going and going.
Yeah. But I also think in this one, this gave little Deadpool just a little bit more development instead of just being a one-track mind.
Now, I have to start the very opening of this movie was hilarious because it starts kind of where Logan ended. Remember how Logan was laying on that stump with the... Deadpool had that little action figure, and he was playing with it.
And I was just laughing. Oh my god, that's at the end of Logan.
That was great. Dies. Yes, he's pretty much keeps calling out Hugh Jackman, but right away, you know, he's laying on these blue barrels in his apartment, and he says, you know, if he's gonna die in that one, I'm gonna die in this one.
He
blows himself up.
Blows himself up into pieces.
And then that's where we get Colossus. He gathers all the pieces and drags them to the house.
To the manor. And
this is one spoiler scene. Go ahead. It's where we're at the X house, and if you blink, you will miss it.
Now, just like in the first Deadpool, Deadpool visits the Xavier mansion.
Yeah, remember how in the first one he always says, you know, it's like the studio can't afford to have, you know, other X-Men characters. It's just Colossus and Negasonic. But in this one...
Yes, in this one, he's going throughout the house. He's pissed off.
He said the same thing.
He's in the Xavier's wheelchair, fucking around, knocking shit over. He said, where the hell are all the other X-Men in this house?
Yeah.
And then the camera kind of goes front and like towards the left part of his... right part of his shoulder.
Yeah.
And there behold, you see the X-Men.
James McAvoy.
You see Professor X.
Evan Peters, Quicksilver.
Yeah, you see Professor X, Beast, Quicksilver, Cyclops, and Storm.
Yeah.
For like 5 seconds. You see them like they just stare, and the Beast walks up, closes the door.
Before he turns around and notices.
I thought that shit was so funny. They actually showed the X-Men.
Because he was just going on this rant. Yeah.
Different, but there's also one thing I also noticed that is a little different. That if this is the future and those are the past, let's say the 80s, and they're still in the same timeline as the 80s, which I thought was a little weird.
Yeah.
They decided to bring out the McAvoy's not Stewart's character, which I thought they should have brought the older versions of the X-Men in.
And then it was kind of funny because he was wearing the Cerebral in another scene after Colossus gets him out of the wheelchair, and he says it smells like Patrick Stewart. He doesn't say James McAvoy. He says Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, but they show McAvoy. They show like the X-Men Apocalypse cast
right
in this one, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, it was cool to see him and all, but if you're up to in this present time where Deadpool is at, don't you think you should show the older characters? Fire Fist is causing distress at the re-education center for like mutants.
Yeah, and then this is where we actually get to see Deadpool wearing an X-Men shirt, but it says trainee on the back, and we'll explain this as we go. But he's with Colossus. He's also with Negasonic and Yukio. But he says that I'm a member of the X-Men. And they say trainee. And he's trying to talk to this kid.
They decided to let him deal with it. Let's see how he does.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of
And he discovers that that these people at this re-education center are abusing the mutants. Mm-hmm. They're kind of almost torturing them.
Exactly. And the kids, pretty much setting everything around him ablaze. And
that's when Wade loses it, starts shooting them all up.
Yeah, he shoots this one particular guy right in the head. And trying to cooperate with this kid, but the kid doesn't want his help. And once, kind of like Deadpool kills this kid, or not the kid, but kills the guy in the head, the kid was like, hey, this guy can help me in achieving my goal of killing this other guy, but they get arrested for it.
Yeah. So they get these collars put on them, which pretty much takes away their powers.
Yeah.
And which is I think is pretty interesting when they do that. Wade's tumors and cancers starts returning.
Yeah, you see actually his skin, it's starting to turn white a little in areas.
He doesn't have his healing ability, so it can't fight the infections that he grew.
And the kid, he can't use his fire or pyro.
And that's when they go to the icebox.
Yeah, north. The icebox. Once they go to this particular, this kid just keep hounding Wade, saying, I want to be your friend, I want you to help me, this and that. He's like, you don't want nothing to do with me. I'm just an asshole. I got cancer. I'm dying. Just leave me alone. And that's when we start hearing this loud thumping and growling. And he's like, "That's who you want to make friends with is the big guy,
the biggest and baddest person here in prison. That's what you want to do."
Yeah, exactly.
And who this big guy is, which it was a surprise to me.
It was very surprising to me as well.
Yes, and who his character is.
Juggernaut himself.
Yeah, not the one from the Last Stand.
Yeah, that was played by Vinnie Jones.
The person who actually does the motion capture for him, and I looked this up, is actually Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He also used his face, just made him, enlarged him, and he used the same voice, but he made it more deeper. So in reality is actually Ryan Reynolds playing him. Now, this version of Juggernaut, he was big.
Yeah,
really
like I said, 5 times the normal size of Vinnie Jones's portrayal of Juggernaut in the original X-Men.
And this one, he really fucking was more stronger. They show how violent he can really get. And I liked how this one scene when they were in the convoy, when he threw his fist down into the ground and the whole freaking caravan just flew up in the air. Literally almost exploded. Yes. And he grabs Deadpool, rips him in half. Very nasty, huh?
Very, very nasty. That's one of the gory scenes I was talking about previous in the review.
Yeah, and he fights Colossus, and Colossus struggles with Juggernaut here. He was getting his ass kicked. Mm-hmm. And he needed help from Deadpool, Cable, Negasonic Warhead, and
all
Yukio.
Came together.
And because they were all struggling, and Deadpool really got beat up by him multiple times. He was getting tossed around, impaled, bones being broken multiple times.
And in case those who don't know who Juggernaut is the stepbrother to Professor Xavier.
They do talk about it in this movie.
Yes, they...
Very briefly, but if you listen closely, you will hear it.
In the previous X-Men, they never mentioned that, but yes, he is the older stepbrother of Professor Xavier, and his ability is he wears a metal helmet, so Charles cannot read his mind.
Yeah.
He does talk about that, kind of similar to Shaw in the First Class.
Yeah.
So Juggernaut is just basically he just runs. He powers through everything like a rhinoceros.
Which I think they really should have showed in this one, besides just brute strength.
Yeah,
I really thought, which they would have been really cool.
Yes.
Which I think they really should have done, just like they did in The Last Stand, how they showed Juggernaut crash through the wall.
This is not the last we'll see of Juggernaut, though.
No, because he did. Yeah. He did not die. He actually did survive this one.
Right. Yes.
Which I thought was funny how they actually took him out. Colossus had to fight dirty in this one because it was the only way to stop him. And there was this one scene in particular, which I want to say is like how they first stopped him. They were electrocuting him, and then Colossus.
Well, Deadpool ripped his back pants open,
and Colossus sticks a fucking electric wire up his ass, and then Negasonic knocks him into the pond or something like that. And then there was just to like temporary and keep him out of the fight.
It's enough to just kind of like put him to kind of like sleep with shock therapy.
Yeah, and it was funny.
It was a very funny scene.
Anal scene. Oh, that's DP right there for you.
Right, but also going back to the icebox, that's actually where we get first introduced to Cable, and we actually get to see some of his telekinesis powers, or at least what we think it is, because every time he uses a weapon or something, it always comes back to him.
Either it's his telekinesis powers or some sort of magnetic weapon that he uses to recall his weapons towards him.
So basically, just right away, this scene gets really intense with Cable. He's just going right after the kid, wants to take care of business. And, Wade's like, hey, what the hell are you trying to do and kill this kid for? Like, why is he so important to you? And so now Wade's becoming an interference to Cable's plan. And that's also where we get to see DP form the X-Force.
Like I said earlier in the review, not the spoiler talk, we were talking about like all the X-Force characters we wish we had more time in.
Domino, Bedlam, Shatterstar,
Zeitgeist,
and Peter, and
the Vanisher. Now, when they're going to the plane to the convoy to save Fire Fist from Cable, they all jump from the plane.
And then you just see the Vanisher because he's invincible. You don't see him. And you just see this like harness kind of like falling with the guys.
You see the harness hits power lines. And it lights up the person. And who was playing the Vanisher?
Brad Pitt.
I mean, it shows him like quickly, like in a split second.
Yeah.
But in order for us to confirm, we actually waited for the end credits to see who the Vanisher was. I wonder who that is. Oh, it's Brad Pitt. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I know that he looked familiar.
He did.
And I was really thinking like, wow, they used Brad Pitt for it.
And then Shatterstar, he falls through helicopter blades, gets chopped up.
Zeitgeist, played by Bill Skarsgård, he falls into a wood chipper.
Yep.
And I thought that was hilarious.
Peter's trying to pull his arm and trying to help him, and then
he pukes up on him, acid and shit like that. And he's all melting, going and then Terry Crews' Bedlam, he pretty much hits the front end of a bus hard. Bad. The X-Force pretty much gets wiped out right away, all except for one member,
Domino
with her luck.
Yep, she's luck.
Because at the beginning, they show Deadpool doing a bunch of missions, doing a bunch of hit jobs globally, because he decided to take his jobs elsewhere. And this one particular job he didn't finish, which came to bite him in the ass.
Yes.
And he heard a bunch of guys coming, almost like spider senses in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when he starts grabbing the knife and just...
Yeah, he killed everybody except the main bad guy who was hiding. And this one, he shot, and Deadpool was trying to get him before he made the shot, but that shot hits Vanessa and he kills her. And that's what sets Deadpool off. He gets so pissed off. That's kind
of what launched this whole movie. That's also when Deadpool blows himself up out of depression.
Yeah, because that's one thing about this movie is they actually developed Deadpool a little bit more because of what happened. Like, he has these visions of Vanessa sitting in a room, but for some reason there's this little filled,
It's like an invisible wall.
Yeah, preventing him from getting to her.
And she always tells him, these little quick bits, like the first one she tells him, your heart's not in it.
Yeah. So instead of in this one, he learns like to use his feelings, to be more of a person. Don't use acts of violence.
Stop being
constantly.
selfish. Put others before your needs.
Yeah, basically, be selfless. Basically,
and that's where he wants to get involved with this kid to kind of prove to her that he does have a heart.
Yes, and it's a little weird because Deadpool actually does die at the end of this. But the reason why Deadpool actually died because he had that collar on. And he wanted to he put it on him, so if you...
He was trying to talk to the kid, trying to tell him, well, you don't have to kill this guy, and he just kept attacking him, so finally he put the collar on and said, look, I'm talking to you without my powers. I'm talking to you one-on-one, man-to-man,
Yeah.
And...
that's when, he's using up his 30 seconds before...
right, and Cable just says, enough talking, pulls out the gun, and he jumps in front of the bullet, and the kid's like, wow, you took a bullet from me. No one's ever done that. And, he doesn't kill that wicked guy.
So, I mean, and then from there on, you actually see Cable's, that bear that he has, go back to normal instead of being all and covered in ash and being all dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means his timeline is pretty much fixed. And at that moment when Deadpool, gave his selfless act and then he died, which took a little while to do, even though it was kind of funny, then it kind of stopped being funny right there. And then
yeah, exactly. And then that's when we see, Deadpool going to that scene with Vanessa, and he actually appears as his normal self before he got cancer, before he became sick in the first one.
Yeah.
But, apparently...
Yeah, Cable decided to use his last charge to go back in time. Instead of going back to his own period in time, 50 years in the future, he decided to just go back just like a few minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Where he put that coin right there where that bullet's going to hit. And so he basically saved Deadpool from dying.
The headmaster, he actually got his karma, because Deadpool says, I'm going to let karma take care of you.
Yeah, and he pretty much gets hit by the taxi driver. What's his name?
Dopinder.
Dopinder.
Just plows right through.
He's like, yeah! I did it.
Now, this movie really didn't have no secret endings. There was one particular scene.
I liked how I thought it was very funny in the end credit scenes there.
Yeah, it just kind of shows Negasonic and Yukio working on Cable's little time travel thing, and she repairs it, and he kind of takes it and...
Oh God, what have we done? Like that, and then it switches over to they showed the X-Men Origins Wolverine's Deadpool.
That movie I grabbed at the very beginning that I told you was going to be an important part of this.
Yes.
It's that scene where Wolverine and Deadpool were facing off, and he says finally they were able to shut you up, and you just see...
You see the gun go to the side of his head. Pow! And he's like, hey there, I'm just trying to fix this. Pop, 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 pop,
he just
pop,
dumps a whole clip in there.
And then it goes over to where they shows Ryan Reynolds. Right, like the script for Green Lantern.
Yeah, he's sitting at the desk. He just got done writing the Green Lantern, and pow!
He said, you're welcome, Canada. I thought this movie in general was very good. It was fun.
No secret endings. No Stan Lee.
No Stan Lee, maybe because of health issues. The man, he's 94 years old, so I can understand why he didn't do this.
Well, he did Avengers.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that was a must by a lot of fans too. So,
but
this was a good movie. This was it was fun. It was comedy. There's action in it. Lots of parts where he brought this. Yeah,
and we also got this little cool souvenir for going to see an IMAX. Is it worth IMAX? It's up to you. I mean, like we said, we give it 3 out of 5. But, seeing it on a big giant screen is always good. But I always recommend seeing a movie when it's kind of packed, because you get the feel of the audience.
Yeah.
And just remember, when you're going and purchasing a ticket,
know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
And don't get too butthurt because you bring your kids to this movie.
It is rated R.
Yes, rated R, and surprising there was no nudity in this one. That's one thing I was surprised of. Okay, so I'm gonna have freaky.
So, but no. As far as I know, this movie's not available in 3D.
Well, they do have it in regular 3D, but not IMAX. That's the thing I saw.
Yeah, IMAX 3D. Yeah.
Yeah, but which part of that one?
I do have one request though from the audience. If you want to drop a comment down here, let us know who you thought was better, Josh Brolin's character as Cable or Josh Brolin's character as Thanos. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Me personally, I liked him as Thanos.
I kind of liked him in the Goonies. He's playing his big brother.
That has nothing to do with Marvel. But yes, I liked him in Goonies. But seriously, let us know in the comment section what you think. Who would you prefer, Josh Brolin's character, Cable, or Thanos?
Yes. Everybody remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you again next time on ChefD26 Movie Reviews with Spoilers.